Please welcome Robin Wisawati.
In Swahili, the language I learned when I moved to Kenya, I'm saying this is my home, and I want to welcome all of you. But I didn't grow up in this home. Instead, I grew up in a suburb just outside of Chicago. And my life was maybe similar to that of a lot of people here today. I was in sports, performing arts, I had a great group of friends. But at the same time, there was something that was missing in my life. I knew there was something more than what I heard in the conversations in high school hallways. There was a yearning that there was something else bigger in the world that I couldn't find in my home, or my school, or my country. So I left. First, I gave away my computer and my printer, all of my clothes, and I told my family to rent out my room. And I left Chicago, and I went to Eastern Africa, in Kenya, and I lived in a remote community with the Maasai family. And all of a sudden, I had a new baba, or father, and since they practiced polygamy, I had 2 mamas, 3 brothers, 2 sisters, 2 AIDS orphans, a grandma, sheep, goats, cows, all of us lived together in that home made out of mud and cow dung and sticks. And every night, I would fall asleep on a mattress with type and woven sticks about a foot off the ground. And every morning, I would wake up to the sound of my mama's voice, shouting, "Nasirian Amka, Saya Kwenda Maji," which means, "Robin, get up. It's time to go fetch water." So we take our 20-liter jerry can and walk a kilometer over to the spring. And we fill it up, lug it up on our backs, and walk the kilometer back home. Mama would go and milk the cows. I would start the fire so we could cook our breakfast of tea. And this was the beginning of a very long day of chores, fetching firewood, going for more water, washing our clothes with our hands. This was our life, day in and day out. And we lived this life in a valley, underneath this huge set of towering hills. And at the top of the hills was our nearest market, where we'd get our groceries. Our nearest access to medical facilities in case we got sick. But the thing was, is that it was a 7-hour round-trip walk to get there and back. The only other way to get up there is to get a ride in the back of our community-owned pickup truck. So one morning, I was lucky enough to be one of the passengers to crowd inside this pickup truck. And we're bouncing up and down this bumpy, dusty road. And on my left-hand side was an old Maasai elder with long, stretched earlobes and bare feet. And he was crammed right up against me. On my right-hand side was an old Maasai mama who was sitting there like this, not because she was balancing water or firewood at that moment, but because she had been for decades and could no longer sit up straight. But she was crammed against me on my right-hand side. And I had a child sitting on my lap so the child wouldn't have to walk to market. And a chicken pecking at my feet to be sold at market. And we're bouncing up and down on this bumpy, dusty road with milk containers hitting my head in Swahili, going on in the background. And I remember looking up in the distance at these hills that we were passing, which in comparison to this chaotic cultural scene around me stood tall and serene. In that moment, I asked myself, how in the world did I get here? Me, a girl who used to fight with her parents and swim on the swim team. How did I get here? I couldn't answer that question for about a year, until I realized that opportunity is not a chance, it's a choice. We choose what type of lives we want to live. We choose what we're doing on our summer vacations, what we choose to study in university, who we hang out with, what we talk about. But at the same time, since the whole world is only made up of people like you and me, the world that we live in is also our choice.